All right, so that's all about the markets. Now moving on, India just passed its toughest energy stress test in over a decade. And that is according to the country's chief economic advisor. Reacting to Chief Economic Advisor V. Anantha Nageswaran's op-ed, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted that India's stability came from a decade of macro discipline and pledged a renewed push for Aatmanirbharta or self-reliance. When the Strait of Hormuz shut down on February 28th, after US-Israeli strikes on Iran, India's crude basket nearly doubled from $69 a barrel to $157 at the peak. Hormuz carries a fifth of the world's oil. India sources nearly 9/10 of its crude and over half of its cooking gas through the one channel. Delhi's response was textbook crisis management, subsidized cylinder prices, diverted naval escorts, scrapped custom duty, and a quiet pivot to Russian and American crude. Nageswaran said, during the peak of the crisis in India, there were no shortages and no panic buying cues. He called that the real headline, not the crisis, but the absence of one. Now, with the US-Iran peace deal in place, Goldman Sachs has upgraded India's FY26 growth forecast to 6.8%, cut its inflation outlook to 4.4%, and trimmed the current account deficit projection to just 1.1% of the GDP. Goldman even predicts a balance of payments surplus. But the op-ed's real warning sits in its final paragraphs. This was a stress test and not a cure. India's trade deficit still runs above 8% of GDP when oil and gold are excluded. That's structural import dependence and not a one-off shock. So, when Modi talks about self-reliance, he's reading the same conclusion as his own chief economist. Insulation today does not fix exposure tomorrow. The Gulf crisis has likely passed, but the vulnerability exposed hasn't.